Good morning, YouTube. Well, by the time this is posted, it'll probably be evening, so good evening, YouTube. Well, we're out here at Susquehanna, so it's December, so the water's cold, the air's cold. We're gonna toss around the old, trusty, reliable Ned rig. So the one that I use is a little bit modified. I decided to create a couple with some willow blades on there, singles and doubles. The one I'm using today is a single willow blade. Just gives a little bit of flash. I feel like it stands out, makes the smallies want to eat it just because it's different. But yeah, I caught one smallmouth. The other day I caught a carp. Unfortunately, the SD card had an error, so I had to format it, which I lost all the footage. We're gonna try to replace that with some smallmouth starting today. So we'll see what happens. But thank you for clicking this video. If you have not hit that subscribe button, I ask that you do. It just really helps the channel, and I appreciate all of your support. But let's get fishing. Good morning, YouTube. So as you can see, we're back out here at the Susquehanna. I'm gonna throw around this little Ned rig with the minnow on there, a little willow blade. I've actually been throwing this for a few days, and unfortunately, I caught a carp. Well, that's not the unfortunate part. That was actually the blessing in it, but I lost the footage because somehow my GoPro said there was an error and I had to format it, which deleted all of that footage. So we're out here this morning and we're gonna start fresh. I've had some rain for a couple days, nothing crazy, not a lot of rain, but this morning it's actually kind of warm. It's almost 40, which is unusual for first week of December. But we're not gonna complain, we're gonna take it. So I know there's cold, windy days ahead. There we go. Freaking smoked it. That was a solid hit right there. Nice. Good way to start the morning. Look at that. That's a nice smallie. Like I was saying in my earlier videos, I mean, they call them bronze backs for a reason. Especially in colder water, they get that bronze little tint to them. Absolutely choked that Ned rig. We're out here at the Susquehanna this morning, catching some beautiful bronze backs on the Ned. Can never go wrong with the Ned. All right, let's let them go, let them grow. Thanks for biting, bud. Nice. I know you guys can't see it because of the reflection in the water, but there's actually a log right there that goes across, probably 6 foot long, maybe as big as my arm. That's exactly where that bass was. So in this colder water, these fish are gonna find structure that holds heat, like logs, rocks, could be brush piles, whatever, just because they're cold-blooded and they wanna absorb that heat from that structure. So that's one thing to look for when you're fishing this time of year. If you know where there's a log or a rock in the water, definitely target that area too. Fish are just more, I guess, methodical in the colder water, the colder months. They're not just roaming around randomly. I mean, you can catch them where there might not be a rock or there might not be a log, just because they might be going from one spot to another. But typically they're gonna hold up around structure. Big old hawk flying around. I thought it was a bald eagle at first, but it's not. It's just a big hawk. Oh, I just missed one right there. It wasn't. It sure felt like a fish. Well, this is actually the spot where I caught that carp the other evening. Hopefully, I can get on something here. There's usually typically a smallmouth or two around. There we go. Freaking clobbered it. It's a nice one. I'll get out of the grass. Oh. We lost him. He got me on a twig and pulled off. Man, these smallies are smart. Well, that's a good sign. We know there's one here. Yeah, he got me in all these reeds right there and popped off. It's all right. We'll land the next one. All right, well, that's going to do it for this segment. Like I said, I have to go run some errands. I'm actually running to my hometown, Lewistown, to help my parents out. So I'll see you guys in the next fishing session. A fish? Yeah, it is. Oh, he popped off. That's a little guy. So the cast before that one, I thought I felt a little tap. I wasn't sure if it was a rock. Here it was a little smallie. All right, well, at least we're having some action this morning. I just need to get one to the bank. I believe one of the biggest tips or most important tips I can give you anglers as you're out there fishing this cold season with the cold water is you can target the areas where the fish are, but one important thing is your presentation of like how you're bringing your lure through the water, because again, the water is cold, so everything that's in the water is moving slow. So one thing that you definitely shouldn't do is drag your lure across the bottom really fast. Pay attention to what you're doing. I guess don't get caught up in the habit of just reeling it really quick like you were in the summertime. Just make sure you're aware that, hey, the water's cold. I need to bring my lure slower through the water, and that will definitely help you get more bites. Because these fish, again, are not dumb, but they're not the smartest either. So if you mimic the food that they're eating and what it's doing this time of year, gives you better odds of, you know, getting some bites. Because I even catch myself sometimes just anxious to get that bite and wanting to go from spot to spot to spot and fish it as quick as I can and be efficient so I can go to the next spot. But I'm actually being inefficient, because if there was a fish there, he probably looked at my lure and was like, that ain't normal, you know? That thing was flying across the bottom. It was bumping off everything. Because in cold water, like I said, mussels are gonna be slow, and the bait fish, the crawfish, everything. It's like thinking about yourself in cold water. You know, your muscles are gonna constrict, you know? Like I said, that's just one of the tips, the most important tips I can give you guys. Just slow it down in this time of year. There we go. Kind of looks like the one I missed earlier. It's almost the same size. Very, very soft bite. Like I said, it's one thing to pay attention to this time of year. Sometimes they're not going to clobber it. There we go. Like I said earlier in my videos, this time of year is tough. So I'm thankful for any one we can get. Little black dots on them. Not a little pancake. That's a good one though. Thanks for biting, bud. I mean, this spot, like I said prior in my last video, the reasons why it holds some smallmouth in the winter, like I said, is the bottom transition. I feel like it brings some bait in here as well. Plus the eddy, the lack of current here. It's definitely places to target in your area too. Especially, like I said, this time of year in the colder water. Usually in the summer, they're gonna be roaming around more. Then the winter, you kind of want to target certain areas. If you haven't watched my last video, watch that, because it gives a lot of tips and advice and insight to some cold water winter fishing.